This is a cabin tour of cabin 12182 on Royal Caribbean's Anthem of the Seas. And while at first glance this might look like pretty much a standard cruise ship cabin, there were some very smart design choices that were made when they created Anthem of the Seas. And there's some little things that they did in this cabin that I want to show you that are very, very clever. I guess we should first address the elephant in the room, who is not actually an elephant. It's Tramp from the Disney movie Lady and the Tramp. He's accompanying us on this cruise. First thing I want to show you is these drapes in the cabin. The drapes are on a two-track system, so that when you close the drapes, the right drapes can overlap the left drapes, and you can get a perfect seal which blocks out all the light. So if you like to take a nap during the day, or if you like to sleep well past sunrise in the morning, you can block all that light out because they were smart enough to put two tracks in for those drapes. Most cruise ship cabins, they just have one track. The drapes meet in the middle and you never really get a very good seal there, and some light spills through and it'll wake you up. While we're down here at this end of the room, I want to show you another smart thing that they've done. Look, next to the bed, there is an electrical outlet there. This is fantastic news for people who sleep with a CPAP, or also just if you want to plug your electronics in there to charge at night, or whatever you want to plug in there, you've got a plug next to the bed. I've never seen that before on any of the previous cruises that we've taken. Now let's go in here to this closet. And you'll notice there's a safe there, and the safe has a keypad. So instead of some of the older cruise ships where you have to swipe some kind of card through there, here you can just assign it a code. And that's pretty standard on most newer cruise ships. But here's what I like about this closet. See how that closet is way far away from that other closet? So that if I need to get into my closet when my wife and I are getting dressed, and she wants to get into her closet at the same time, it's no problem. We're like 12 feet apart there. We're not bumping into each other. While we're speaking of storage, take a look at these drawers over here. I'll open this one. You notice we've got a hairdryer in there. Now watch what happens when I just give this thing a light push closed. It closes itself softly the rest of the way. I've never seen that in a cruise ship cabin before. Down below we have the refrigerator. Look at this. Here's something else I've never seen in a cruise ship cabin. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but that is a combination lock right there, just like you have on the safe. And so because it's a mini bar and there's booze that's stored inside there, if you're traveling with kids and you want to lock them out of the refrigerator so they can't get to the booze or buy the expensive Coca-Cola that's in there, you can just set a combination lock on that refrigerator and keep the kids out. Now I want to focus on this desk area for a second. And the first thing to point out, let's say I'm sitting at the desk there on the chair. Notice that there's still an awful lot of room behind me for someone to pass by. Problem we've had on some of the other cruise ships we've stayed on is they've put the desk next to the bed, so that if you're sitting at the chair using the desk there, there's not enough space there. You totally block it and nobody can get by. So this was a much smarter design, putting the desk over here, and there's still plenty of room behind that chair for my wife to get by when I'm sitting at the desk. I'm going to close my laptop lid here for a second to show you all these connections. You have two 110 volt plugs here, American style, plus two USB, and then a 220 socket over there. But between these two USB and these two AC outlets here, you can charge an awful lot of electronic devices at night while you're sleeping. And this was a smart design because they put these far enough apart that if I plug a battery charger in here, it doesn't block this. You can still use that. A lot of the cruise ship cabins I've been at, the plugs have been so close to each other that when you go to plug something like this into the socket, it blocks the other. So this was a very smart design. Now I want to show you something on the computer itself here. I just went to speedtest.net a little while ago, and they have very high-speed internet on this ship. We have a 175 millisecond ping time, which is incredibly fast for cruise ship ping. Download speed of 4.45 megabits per second and upload speed of 3.24 megabits per second. Very, very solid scores. The internet here on Anthem of the Seas is just about the fastest that you're going to find on any cruise ship in the world. Now this is a very little thing, but it's really a smart idea. The makeup room and do not disturb sign, it's magnetic. So it just sticks right to the door. So you could just attach it like that, of course to the outside, not the inside. That's way better than using a door hanger that hangs from the door handle, because those tend to get blown off sometimes as people pass by in the hallway. This magnetic sign is a much smarter idea. Such a simple thing. Now let's take a walk into the bathroom and I'll show you a couple of interesting little features. The shower itself is big enough to be not uncomfortable. I mean, it would be great if it was bigger, but it's not as bad as the teeny showers on the Princess balcony cabins that I've been in. This shower head here is on a rail, so you can slide it down for short people and slide it up for somebody who's tall. And then one of the neat little features is that these towels have these little hooks on them, so you can hang them like that. That is so brilliant. Such a teeny little smart idea. And then another great idea I've never seen on a cruise ship before. The light in the bathroom, if I turn the lights off, that little part in the corner stays on. It's a night light. It's so great at night. This light never goes completely off. It's always on like that at least. And then when you turn on the main light switch, the whole thing lights up and you get a lot of light. Finally, as far as what they supply, you'll find some body lotion or hand lotion there on the left. There's shampoo, conditioner, and shower gel, which is like a liquid soap. Plus there's a bar of hand soap there. So pretty well supplied. You don't have to pack a whole lot of stuff. And as you use these little amounts up, they will be replenished by your cabin steward throughout the week. And as we say hello to Tramp one more time, we're going to work our way over here to the balcony and get ready to wrap this thing up. The balcony is, of course, the reason that you book a cabin like this, for the beautiful view. But I want to show you something about the balcony door that was very, very smart. The balcony door slides from right to left, and you have that little handle that you turn there to open it. A lot of cruise ship balcony doors pivot on hinges, and when you close the balcony door, it slams closed and makes a very loud noise. And throughout the cruise, you're hearing your neighbor's balcony doors slam closed. I'm talking about on a lot of other cruise ships, not this one. This was a very smart design, having a sliding door. It's nearly silent. You never hear your neighbor's balcony doors slamming because they don't slam. Then notice there on the chairs, they have a little ottoman or footstool. There's also a little table out here. Beautiful view. That is the reason to book a balcony cabin. And if you look this way, you can see that there's an overhang from the decks above that provides really nice shade out here, so it doesn't get too hot. And that completes the cabin tour, cabin 12182 on Anthem of the Seas. It's a fairly standard balcony cabin, category D5, and a heck of a great value.